What if one book could give you a life's worth of weekly directions? One clear truth to practice each week for a year. Proverbs offers exactly that. 52 short, practical lessons rooted in reverence for God and shaped for everyday choices. This is not abstract theology. These are habits you can try, test, and live out. At work, at home, in the hard conversations, and in the quiet mornings. If you're ready to take one principle a week and let it shape the way you think and act, comment where you're watching from or type "Peace of the Lord" below. If you want weekly wisdom like this, hit subscribe. Let's grow in wisdom together. Proverbs 1:7. Paraphrase. Reverence for the Lord is the starting point for true understanding. When we place God first in our thinking, our choices begin to root in something steadier than impulse. In practice, begin your week by asking, what would reverence look like in this decision? That little habit reorients the rest of your steps. Let that posture of awe become the compass for the week ahead. On to the next foundation. Proverbs 3:5-6. Paraphrase. Trust God rather than relying solely on your own cleverness. Life tempts us to depend on fast logic or short-term fixes. Wisdom invites patience and surrender. Apply this by pausing before a big decision and asking God for clarity. Then test your plan with trusted counsel. You won't always see results immediately, but practicing trust reshapes how you lead your life. Keep that steady rhythm as you move forward. Proverbs 3:9-10. Paraphrase. Honor God with what you have, your income, your time, your attention, and live generously. This is stewardship, not a quick-fix prosperity promise. Generosity trains the heart to hold wealth lightly. Try one concrete act this week. Give to someone in need, or dedicate a portion of your earnings to service. Such small practices form a posture of trust and gratitude that changes how you measure success. Let generosity be a trainer of the soul. Proverbs 4:23. Paraphrase. Above all else, guard your heart, for it determines the course of your life. The heart here is the seat of motives and imagination. What you allow in shapes what comes out. Practical step: curate your inputs, what you read, what you watch, whom you follow, and ask, does this protect or pollute my heart? Guarding the heart isn't walling off, it's choosing what will grow inside you. Hold that vigilance gently, not with fear, but with care. Proverbs 11:3. Paraphrase. Integrity guides the upright and guards their path. Crookedness trips the unfaithful. Character is more than a resume line. It's the pattern of choices made when no one's watching. In application, choose the honest route in a small payment, a quick message, or a forgotten receipt. Those choices compound. Trust that consistent integrity builds a life you can stand on. Let that steady truth direct your steps.
Proverbs 18:21. Paraphrase. Words have the power of life and death. What you speak shapes realities. Our speech is rarely neutral. It either wounds, heals, tempts, or frees. Make one practice this week. Before responding in anger, count to 10 and choose to speak what builds up. You may be surprised how many conflicts never needed to be escalated. Let your words be life-giving, even when your impulse leans the other way. Now we move from foundations into the shape of character and the way we relate to others. Proverbs 16:18. Paraphrase. Pride goes before destruction. Humility steadies the walk. Pride promises strength, but often brings isolation and misstep. Practically, when you feel the urge to boast or insist, ask a friend to gently call you to account. Humility doesn't shrink your gifts, it frees you to grow in community. Walk in that humility so your next steps have firm footing. Proverbs 15:1. Paraphrase. A gentle answer softens anger, a harsh word inflames it. The tone you choose in a confrontation often decides the outcome before the facts do. Try this. The next time a conversation heats up, reply with calm curiosity rather than a quick defense. You might find doors opening where walls once stood. Let gentleness be a simple discipline you practice deliberately. Proverbs 27:17. Paraphrase. Iron sharpens iron. Faithful friends refine our character. Wisdom grows best in relationship, not in isolation. This week, invest time with one person who will ask honest questions and expect honest answers. Someone who will sharpen you, not flatter you. Friendship that challenges is a spiritual gift. Receive it, and be ready to return the sharpening. Keep these friendships close. they shape your soul. Proverbs 12:1. Paraphrase. Loving discipline is loving knowledge. Resisting correction is a fragile path. Correction passed with grace strengthens, not destroys. When someone offers you a correction, pause and ask, what can I learn here? Implement one change this week in response to wise critique. That humility will grow your competence and character. Make learning your posture, not your defense. Proverbs 15:22. Paraphrase. Plans succeed through wise counsel. Without guidance, projects stumble. Decisions are rarely intended to be made alone. Wisdom is communal. For a current choice, big or small, gather 2 to 3 trusted voices before you commit. Their perspectives will catch what you miss and temper haste. Make counsel a regular part of planning, not an afterthought. Proverbs 17:17. Paraphrase. A true friend sticks close in every season. Reliability in relationships is not flashy, but it changes life. This week, show up for someone in a mundane, practical way. A phone call, a coffee, a drive. These small constancies build a network of trust that carries you through storms. Invest in being that person for others too. Proverbs 13:10. Paraphrase. Pride leads to quarrels. Wisdom listens and yields.
Many disputes are less about facts and more about posture. When you sense conflict bubbling, ask whether your stance is worth the relationship. Choosing humility may mean losing a point, but gaining peace. Let your priority be people more than being right. Now we move toward stewardship and the values that order a life. Proverbs 10:2, paraphrase. Ill-gotten gain brings no lasting good. Honest hands bring benefit. The lure of shortcuts promises quick reward, but often traps you in long-term cost. When presented with an offer that feels too easy, test it by seeking counsel and considering consequences. Better a slower, honest path than a quick gain that corrodes trust. Put integrity at the center of your finances. Proverbs 18:10, paraphrase. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. Those who trust run into safety. This is not magical protection, but a recognition that anchored trust steadies us when fear comes. In moments of anxiety, rehearse a simple truth. God is greater than my trouble. Let that truth reorient your breath and your choices. Trust grounds action more than panic ever can. Lean into that refuge. Proverbs 21:23, paraphrase. Keeping your mouth and tongue in check protects you from many troubles. Speech is a kind of currency we spend every day. Overuse can bankrupt relationships. Try this. In a heated setting, aim to speak half as much and listen twice as long. You'll avoid unnecessary slips and gain clearer understanding. Practice restraint as a practical guardrail. Proverbs 11:24, paraphrase. Some give freely and yet find their needs met. Some hoard and still worry. Generosity shapes character more than it balances a ledger. Give not to receive riches, but to form a heart of trust. This week, choose a deliberate act of generosity, time, money, or service, without expecting immediate return. Watch how giving changes your inner economy. Let generosity train your affections. Proverbs 22:1, paraphrase. A good name, honor, and reputation is preferable to great riches. Reputation is earned over time by consistent choices and small disciplines. Protect your name by being reliable in small promises and honest in small transactions. Over the long run, credibility opens doors money cannot. Cherish your reputation as a long-term investment. Proverbs 13:11, paraphrase. Wealth acquired quickly often disappears. Steady gain comes from persistent work. This is a warning about shortcuts, not a promise of automatic success for effort. Set realistic financial rhythms. Save a portion, avoid sudden schemes, and plan for the long haul. Slow, disciplined steps usually outlast the fast wins. Let patience govern your goals. Proverbs 14:23, paraphrase. Hard work yields profit. Mere talk produces only lack. Plans without labor remain dreams. This week, translate one intention into a concrete action. An email sent, a draft finished, a training begun. Small acts compound into meaningful results. Choose labor over wishful thinking.
Now we turn to how wisdom is practiced in community and the public square. Proverbs 12:22, paraphrased. Lying lips are detestable. Truth builds trust. Truth-telling shapes public life and private relationships alike. Make honesty your default. Correct an exaggeration. Clarify a misstatement. Admit a mistake. Truthfulness may have costs, but it builds a foundation that outlasts convenience. Let truth be the currency of your community. Proverbs 19:17, paraphrased. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord. who will repay in ways beyond calculation. This does not mean God will always repay financially, but that acts of compassion matter eternally. Find one practical way to care for someone vulnerable this week: a meal, a referral, an encouraging note. These small mercies echo in ways we cannot always trace. Let compassion mark your community. Proverbs 27:1, paraphrased. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Planning is wise. Bragging about plans is brittle. Keep humility in your future talk. Speak hopefully, but not presumptuously. Prepare well, but leave room for God's revision. Let your plans be steady, and your boasting small. Proverbs 16:32, paraphrased. Patient self-control is a greater victory than conquering cities. Strength is often the quiet ability to hold your temper, to wait, to persevere. Practice a small discipline this week. Resist immediate gratification in one area: food, screen time, quick anger, and notice how your capacity grows. Self-control builds an inner kingdom that external victories cannot replace. Cultivate patience as a strength, not a restraint. Proverbs 21:5, paraphrased. The plans of the diligent lead to abundance. Haste brings only poverty. Thoughtful preparation matters. Break a long task into daily steps and honor those small deadlines. Consistency compounds. Overnight success is usually a myth behind steady work. Let careful planning shape your season. Proverbs 15:18, paraphrased. A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict. The calm diffuses it. Anger unchecked multiplies damage. Calm repair rebuilds. When you feel anger rising, step back, pray briefly, breathe, and return with a clearer mind. A small pause prevents a large wound. Make temperance a habit of peace. Proverbs 31:10-31, paraphrased. The noble character, the trustworthy, hardworking, compassionate person, brings blessing to the household and community. The wife of noble character in Proverbs stands as a picture of practical virtue: faithful in work, generous with her hands, respected by her household. Apply this by naming one practical virtue you want to cultivate: diligence, hospitality, wisdom, and practice it daily. Character is an ongoing craft. Shape it patiently. Let integrity shine in your household and beyond. Proverbs 28:13, paraphrased. Whoever conceals wrongdoing will not prosper, but confession and renouncing sin brings mercy. Transparency and repentance free us from shame's entanglement.
If you carry a hidden fault, take one concrete step toward confession. Speak to a trusted friend. Seek counsel. Make amends where possible. This path isn't easy, but it opens the door to restoration. Embrace truth and repair. As we prepare to shift from community life into the tender work of parenting, prudence, and disciplined living, notice how these proverbs create a rhythm, a posture of reverence, practical choices in speech and finances, and a reliance on community that shapes us. Each lesson above can be taken as a single week practice, one focus that, when repeated, begins to change habits and hearts. Next, we'll move into the careful art of parenting and prudence, how those same rhythms apply when the stakes feel closest to home. Proverbs 27, paraphrased. The righteous walk blamelessly, their children follow after them. Integrity creates a household rhythm that shapes the next generation. In practice, model honesty in small things. Pay what you owe on time. Keep your word about bedtime or permission. Speak truth about mistakes. When children or younger colleagues watch you choose honesty over convenience, they learn a pattern that outlives lectures. Let your life be the primary lesson your family learns about God and goodness. Moving from what we model to how we correct, notice the shape of discipline that builds rather than breaks. Proverbs 22:6, paraphrased. Train a child in the way they should go. The patterns you lay down early will guide them in maturity. This proverb invites steady influence more than instant results. Practically, choose one habit to teach this week: consistent family prayers, a shared act of service, or a simple rhythm of respect, and repeat it visibly. Don't expect perfection. Focus on consistency and grace when mistakes happen. Over years, small repeated acts make a way of life. From habits, we turn to the guardrails we create for our hearts. Proverbs 23:4-5, paraphrased, "Do not wear yourself out to gain wealth. Riches are fleeting, like a bird that takes flight." Financial prudence protects relationships and peace. A concrete step: set a realistic budget this week and name one luxury you'll postpone for 6 months. Give that restraint a goal beyond consumption. Planning with limits frees your family from frantic chasing and creates room for generosity. Restraint is not scarcity, it is a choice that multiplies stability. With steadiness in finances, we return to how speech and timing shape our day-to-day. Proverbs 15:23, paraphrased, "A timely word brings satisfaction and delivers its weight in peace." There is power in well-placed encouragement and correction. This week, offer a timely compliment or a corrective word delivered with care. Notice the difference when preparation precedes pronouncement. Small, well-timed words prevent many larger ruptures. They cultivate trust. Let your timing honor the moment and the person. As we learn timing, we also learn when to hold silence and when to speak.
Proverbs 25:11, paraphrase. An apt word spoken at the right moment is like apples of gold in settings of silver, beautiful and precious. The way you articulate truth can make it irresistible. Try framing a hard truth this week with dignity. Begin with affirmation, state the observation, then propose a next step. Packaging truth with respect increases the chance it will be received and acted upon. Speak carefully. Your words are tools for restoration, not weapons. From speech that restores, we move into the finer art of restraint in gatherings and disputes. Proverbs 29:11, paraphrase. A fool vents all his feelings, but the wise hold them back and consider consequences. Emotional discipline protects relationships and reputations. Practice this. When irritation flares, name the feeling to yourself, "I'm frustrated." Then delay your response until you can articulate it calmly. That delay prevents rash words built on heat instead of thought. Wisdom is often a quiet hand on the throttle of our mouths. From controlling our responses, we turn to the steady work of building habits that sustain us over years. Proverbs 24:32-34, paraphrase. Observe the ant and learn diligence. Laziness invites scarcity over time. Small daily efforts compound into safety and freedom. For one project this week, break it into 15-minute increments and commit to one increment daily. Watch how progress accumulates. Consistent, bite-sized work guards against overwhelm and breeds accomplishment. Let persistence replace panic. Long-term results are rarely forged by sudden bursts alone. With diligence comes the chance to steward influence and opportunity wisely. Proverbs 25:28, paraphrase. A person without self-control is like a city whose walls are broken, vulnerable to every threat. Self-mastery secures your inner life and your relationships. Choose one boundary to enforce this week: a screen curfew, a spending limit, a vow to step away from gossip, and keep it public so others hold you accountable. Protective boundaries are not punishment, they are defensive love for the soul. Guard what you cannot afford to lose: your character and trust. As we protect our internal walls, we also learn when to speak up for those without a voice. Proverbs 31:8-9, paraphrase. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Justice is not optional, it is an outworking of a heart oriented toward God. This week, make a practical stand. Volunteer an hour, write a letter on behalf of someone marginalized, or donate to an organization that protects the vulnerable. Small acts of advocacy embody compassion and shape public life. Remember that justice begins with attention and is sustained by action. From advocacy, we return to the private work of avoiding harmful entanglements. Proverbs 26:17, paraphrase. Interfering in someone else's quarrel invites trouble and often makes matters worse. Discernment about involvement protects peace.
Before joining a dispute, ask, is my intervention constructive or merely fuel? If you choose to step in, aim to calm and clarify, not to inflame. Sometimes the wisest help is to point people to mediation or cooling off time, rather than jumping into the ring. Wise restraint honors the dignity of all involved. When we avoid needless meddling, we open space for better counsel to emerge. Proverbs 28:6, paraphrase. Better is the poor man who walks in his integrity than the rich man who is crooked in his ways. Wealth without righteousness is a fragile victory. Make a concrete choice this week to align a financial practice with your values. Rescind a deal that compromises ethics, or refuse to profit from someone else's hardship. Short-term advantage should never outweigh long-term integrity. The cost of compromised character often exceeds any immediate gain.
From financial integrity, we move to the soul-clearing work of confession. Proverbs 29, paraphrase, "Who can say, 'I have cleansed my heart, I am pure from sin'?" None of us can claim perfection. Honesty about failure opens the door to healing. Take one small step this week, admit a shortcoming to a trusted friend or leader, and ask for prayer and accountability. Confession is not shame multiplied, it is truth met with grace. That courageous transparency loosens shame's grip and ushers in restoration. After confession comes renewed watchfulness, especially in relationships where words wound. Proverbs 26:20, paraphrase, "Where there is no wood, the fire goes out. Without fuel, quarrels die down." Avoiding the sparks keeps peace from catching. Identify the fuels that fan arguments in your life, sarcasm, late-night texts, alcohol, and remove or limit them in conflict-prone moments. When you limit the available fuel, tempers lose their oxygen and calm can return. Peace is often about what we remove as much as what we add. With lesser fuel, conversations can become bridges rather than battlegrounds. Proverbs 6:20-23, paraphrase, "Keep your father's command and your mother's teaching. They are a lamp and a light on your path." Wisdom often comes through those who have walked before us. This week, seek one piece of counsel from someone older or more experienced and put it into practice, whether a financial habit, parenting strategy, or spiritual discipline. Honoring those guides doesn't mean blind obedience, but receiving tested insight. The accumulation of passed-on wisdom makes our path clearer. As we receive guidance, we should also practice giving it gently. Proverbs 15:5, paraphrase, "A fool despises parental instruction, but whoever heeds correction gains understanding." The humility to be taught is a hallmark of growing maturity. If you're leading someone younger, offer correction with tenderness and clarity. If you're the one corrected, choose curiosity over defense. One concrete act. This week, ask a younger person what they learned from you and listen without interruption.
Teaching that respects the learner creates mutual growth. From learning and teaching, we advance to the discipline of guarding finances against greed. Proverbs 22:7, paraphrased, "The borrower is servant to the lender. Indebtedness can limit freedom." Borrowing has real consequences for choices and future generosity. Begin by mapping your debts and making a single sustainable plan to reduce them. No quick fixes, just steady payments and renegotiated terms where possible. Minimizing unnecessary debt increases your capacity to give, to risk well, and to respond to emergencies without panic. Financial freedom is not only comfort, it's the soil where generosity grows. With better stewardship, we return to cultivating work ethic and reputation. Proverbs 12:24, paraphrased, "The diligent will rule, while the slothful are put to forced labor." Diligence opens opportunities and respects vocation. Choose one task at work or home to do with extra care this week. Finish a report thoroughly, mend what's broken, or prepare a meal without shortcuts. Pride in your work honors God and blesses others. It also trains you for greater responsibility. Small labors done well lay the foundation for meaningful advancement. From diligence, we turn to the heart that receives correction and grows. Proverbs 13:18, paraphrased, "Poverty and shame come to those who ignore instruction. Whoever heeds correction will be honored." Receiving correction is a costly humility that gains future dignity. When someone corrects you, resist the instinct to immediately explain. Instead, reflect and ask clarifying questions. This posture often reveals blind spots and opens avenues for growth. Honor is not avoidance of failure, but the courage to be reshaped by truth. As we accept correction, we learn to build clearer vision for decision-making. Proverbs 29:19, paraphrased, "Where there is no vision, people perish. Where counsel and clarity guide, people flourish." Vision orders energy and shapes priorities. Take 1 hour this week to write down a 6-month vision for a key area, family, work, or service, and identify 3 practical steps to begin. Share that vision with a trusted friend who will ask hard questions. Clear vision is not prideful boasting, but disciplined direction that keeps daily tasks aligned with a broader purpose. From vision, we step into how to respond to foolish provocations at work and online. Proverbs 26:4-5, paraphrased, "Answer not a fool according to his folly, but sometimes give a fitting answer to fools. Discernment matters. Not every provocation deserves rebuttal. Sometimes silence is wisdom, sometimes correction. Practice discernment.
When faced with online baiting or a workplace instigator, decide in advance whether engagement will serve truth or simply amplify noise. If you must reply, do so with calm facts rather than fueling the spectacle. Choosing when to respond preserves energy for worthy fights.
With discernment intact, we can build habits that sustain long-term faithfulness. Proverbs 19:11. Paraphrase. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. Mercy and patience are signs of strength, not weakness. When offended this week, count to 30 and consider the context before speaking. Assume the best when facts are unclear. Overlooking a small slight can preserve peace and deepen relationships. There is honor in restraint. Practice looking for the redeeming possibility in tense moments. From mercy, we move towards the workplace virtue of honest witnesses and faithful testimony. Proverbs 14:34. Paraphrase. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Public and private righteousness have communal consequences. In your sphere, uphold fairness. Be transparent in reports, fair in hiring, honest in negotiations, and resist shortcuts that would benefit you at others' expense. Small acts of justice and integrity accumulate into cultures of trust. Your faithful choices contribute to the health of the places you inhabit. As communal righteousness grows, so does personal contentment, and the next lesson, hope that waits well. Proverbs 13:12. Paraphrase. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Patience in waiting is a spiritual discipline that wards off despair. When goals feel distant, name a small milestone that signals progress and celebrate it honestly. Reframing waiting as a season of preparation keeps discouragement at bay. Hope that waits is not passive, it trusts and works toward what is promised, even when the timeline is unclear. From patient hope, we move toward the final cluster on integrity, diligence, and the path ahead. Proverbs 10:4. Paraphrase. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Work ethic matters both for provision and for character formation. This week, choose one area where you've been passive and take a deliberate step. Apply for a role, revise a resume, begin a training, or volunteer to lead. Initiative often opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. Labor done with integrity honors God and blesses community. Let industry be a spiritual discipline, not merely economic necessity. Proverbs 21:21. Paraphrase. Whoever pursues righteousness and kindness will find life, righteousness, and honor. Pursuing virtue is itself the pathway to flourishing. Design one habit of kindness this week. Write a note to an overlooked colleague, pay for a stranger's coffee, or mentor someone younger, and make it regular. These actions form a pattern where compassion becomes instinctive. Character pursued habitually becomes the shape of your days. As the year closes, remember the slow but sure light that wisdom brings to a path. Proverbs 28:20. Paraphrase. A faithful person will be richly blessed, but one who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished.
Faithfulness in small responsibilities tends to produce lasting fruit. Chasing quick wealth often fractures trust. Commit to faithful, honest stewardship in one area, timely reporting at work, consistent tithing, or reliable caregiving, and let faithfulness be your metric of success. The rewards are not always instant, but they build durable, honorable influence. From faithfulness, we move to the closing promise about the path of the righteous. Proverbs 4:18, paraphrase. The path of the righteous shines brighter and brighter until full day. Spiritual growth is progressive. Wisdom accumulates like morning light. Take the discipline of adopting one proverb per week as an experiment for the coming year. Write it on your calendar, set a reminder to reflect midweek, and share one insight with a friend each Sunday. Over 12 months, the slow addition of small practices transforms decisions, habits, and heart orientation. Wisdom does not rush, it brightens the way step by step. As morning turns to full light, we prepare to close with an invitation to practice and a blessing. Choose one proverb from these 52 to begin with this week and make a small plan. Read the verse, reflect on it for 5 minutes, pick one concrete action, and ask someone to hold you accountable. A year of weekly focus will rewire habits and renew affections, not by magic, but by steady repetition and dependence on God. Lord, we ask that the truths of your wisdom sink deep into our hearts. Teach us reverence that shapes our choices, humility that receives correction, and courage to act justly and love mercy. Grant us patience to practice these lessons week by week, and the community to keep us honest and encouraged. If this blessed you,
Share it with someone who needs practical hope, and consider joining our community to go deeper. If you feel led, subscribe and be part of this journey. May the God of wisdom guide your steps this week and make your path shine brighter as you walk in faithful obedience. Amen.